Welcome back to my channel, guys. So in this video I'm going to show you how I turned this non-runner 1994 Yamaha Jog Artistic Spec into an absolute wheelie machine. This is the Yamaha Jog I brought. It's another artistic spec. Same as the one which I did a full resto mod on. However, this one is absolutely battered. It's not been looked after at all. The panels on it are just, they're completely shoddy. I mean, look at the nose on it. Poor old thing. It's got a broken nose. Got all this, look at this. Poor old scooter, mate. Cracked lens here. See, like all the screws inside the speedo are all rusted. Look, even the seat catch on it, it's just non-existent. I haven't even tried putting any fuel in this yet. I will do. It seems to have a little bit of a kick, but the idea would be I would like to keep it rat look, maybe like, you know, obviously tidy up the broken panels and whatever, but leave the original patina, leave the seat like it is, and just tune the hell out of the engine. Put a 70cc kit on it or whatever, but it will be good. It'll be a little wheelie machine, that. I put some fuel in it, I gave it a kick, and it actually ticked over for like best part of a second and a half. And then it'd go off and go back on, and it was just a bit rubbish. So I've taken the engine out, just taken all the manifold and carb off, and I've just found, look at this, it's like a bloody nest going on in there. It needs a good sort out. My idea is to clean the whole engine back, put a new carb on it, 70cc kit, put like a nice new variator, rollers, blah, 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 do all that. And then all the old panels and that, see, down a bit of a state, and the air filter literally just look at that. It's just, that was the air filter, just all crumbled up and went all skanky on me. To tell the truth, I didn't really know where to start with this, so I thought it'd be a good idea to get the engine on a bench and start polishing the transmission case. So all I'm going to use is this wire brush in my drill. I've already started to like polish it down and get rid of all the crap which was on it because it was in a pretty bad state visually. And I've taken the top end off. I would like to split the cases, maybe put a new crank, new bearings, and like a Malossi kit on it. So that's what I'm looking to do with that. In terms of this, we're gonna have to just get certain replacement parts, which I can find, like a indicator lens. It's missing like the ignition surround, but it's, I think the ignition itself or steering lock, something's broken there. Frame, I'm not too fussed about that. Fuel tank had water in it last time I checked. Don't even want to show you in there. But the guy I brought it from left it outside, and it just, the tank is full of water, so that's going to need redoing. So after having a hunt around, I managed to find a set of 3 indicator lenses on eBay, which cost me £15, and I found a brand new ignition barrel for £20, which came with 2 keys and also the surround. The next step was to continue stripping the scooter down to the frame. I removed the handlebars and the forks, followed by the tank. So we've got a bare frame and everything can then be treated as necessary. The next step was to get these old tyres off of the rims because they were perished and pretty badly worn out. Oh, here she goes. Similar to one. Bit bath and spray, works a treat. Don't get yourself a hernia. Nearly there. We can only take bookings for 1 tyre a day. Oh, it's off. It's tubeless. That's why. Now, because I was going to be replacing the crankshaft, I needed to split the cases. Now, in order to do that, I had to remove the flywheel. So I'll show you just exactly how I done that without the special tool needed. Taking the cover off nice and easy. Then got this nut here which is on the end of the crank. Loosen that off so there's enough play for this to be able to lift off. What I've done is got 2 brackets. These have got quite a few holes in them, luckily enough, so I didn't have to do much drilling. What you want to do is line these up so you're creating tension across the nut and to the threads. I'm just going to tighten the screws up in all 3 holes. As you can see, the brackets are leveled off and screwed on, pretty much how your flywheel cover would be. I didn't use the screws from the flywheel cover because I don't think they would have been long enough. If you can use bolts, that's better because you can get more tension. You want to use quite strong metal for this because the brackets will bend otherwise. I think that's just loosened it. There you go. Now after screwing and tightening it all, you can see that this is lifted now. So all I need to do is take these screws out and then it will come straight off. To be lifted out like so. So after removing the flywheel, I continued to strip the engine. However, the engine mounts had seized on. I could not get them off for love nor money without the use of a blowtorch. So after heating them up and knocking them through, I managed to split the cases and get them cleaned up, ready for a new set of bearings and crankshaft. Now the next step is to install the Stage 6 Mark II HPC 12mm crankshaft and bearings kit. Sit back, relax and watch the process. The next step was to install the crank seals. I thought I'd installed them too far, but I didn't. I was just being extra cautious, so I removed them and fitted new ones. Waste of time and money, but you live and learn. Okay, so what we want to do is get the rings fitted to the piston first. 2 rings, it came inside of the cylinder. What might be an idea is actually putting a little bit of oil, 2-stroke oil, around the piston. And you've got 2 little grooves in the piston where this lines up on the ring. I'm going to try and put the bottom one on first. Just gently slide that one on. There you go, that's the bottom ring on. And then we'll do the top one. Like so. Both of the rings on now, the piston. I've got a 12mm crank here, but my kit's a 10mm kit because I wanted to future-proof the bike in case I want to put a 12mm kit on in the future. So what I've done is bought a 12mm to 10mm reducer on the conrod. That slides on. And we've got the gudgeon pin here with 2 circlips. That's the gudgeon pin, beautiful. I'm going to put one clip on first and then put the other one on after. You've got to be so careful with these because what happens is they fly for miles across the room. Just going to use a flathead screwdriver to press that in. Right, that's in. Bit of a pain. Sorry if you couldn't see that. Basically got to squeeze it in that groove in there. Put 2-stroke oil on the gudgeon pin. Right, and then we've got to get the other circlip in. I think we're in. Right, so that is in. As you can see here, circlips either side. Pin's gone through, roller bearing, we've got the piston rings on, and then we've got to get the cylinder on next. Now again, I'm going to put a little bit of oil just around inside the cylinder inside here, because you want to be able to slide this on nice and easy, a bit two-stroke. We're going to squeeze the rings and just gently on either side, come on, squeeze the rings in like so. Gently slide that in. That's the cylinder on, up dead centre. Gasket's in there nice. Then we've got a head gasket to go on with the head. It's got a rubber band as a gasket. I've just checked the manual, so it is just that O-ring there that goes on. It says make sure the head's nice and clean, which there's no, like, you know, metal bits on it or anything. Just giving it a once over, but yeah, that seems to be good. So we'll put that head on now. Now we know that is correct, just an O-ring. And then I've got 4 nuts which I bought separate. I've got this TNT kit which basically comes with the rods, the threaded rod and nuts. So we'll tighten that up to spec. It says 1.2 kgm, which I don't know what kgm is, never heard of that. So I'm going to go online and find out what that is in Newton meters. So 1.2 kgm is 11.7 Newton meters. I'm going to try and get it to 12. Hand tight first, as always, in the start position. Right, that looks like 12 Newton meters. Beautiful. Happy with that. That should be on there. Tight enough. Okay, so that's the Minarelli Sport Kit fitted on the engine. Some of you eagle-eyed viewers may have noticed I fitted the base gasket the wrong way around, so I had to correct that, learn from my mistake, and make sure you put that on the right way. Now, because I was planning to run the bike on premix, I deleted the oil pump. This left the engine casing with a gap that needed filling. So I went online, I found an EGR valve block-off plate and used that. A lot of people online say it's a waste of time, you don't need to block the space off, but I did anyway. Maybe I've got OCD. I also deleted the electric start. You can see there's a hole there circled in yellow. That will need plugging. For now, I'm using foil tape to cover that hole until I can plug it. But a lot of people do this to save weight on the crank. And also some of the sport variator kits don't allow you to run the electric start. So after that, I fitted the carbon petals to the reed valve that came with the Minarelli 70cc kit. Then I put a new gasket on, followed by the reed valve and manifold ready for the carb. Now, to begin with, I cleaned and stripped the original carb and up-jetted it. This is just to get the bike running, and later on I do change this and upgrade it. After doing some research, it turns out that the OEM airbox is actually the best one for the 70cc kits. So I bought a Minarelli red foam filter, and I also took the snorkel out of the airbox to create a better airflow. I then fitted the OEM stator back to the engine, followed by a new Woodruff key for the crank and the magneto plus the flywheel. So I'm just servicing the gearbox on my Minarelli horizontal 50 engine. Actually, it's now 70. And look, I just want to show you, make sure you check your wheel bearings, because this, look, it's completely bloody seized. Little tip, check your wheel bearing. Now for the gearbox, I drained the original gear oil and also replaced 2 out of the 3 bearings and 2 of the seals. There was 1 bearing I couldn't remove because I didn't have a bearing puller. However, it seemed to rotate fine, so there's no issues there. I then fitted a new gasket and replaced the gear cover, plus topped it up with fresh oil, of course. To get the bike up and running, I ordered a new set of rollers. I used 6.5 grams for the OEM variator. I then chucked on a cheap Athena belt, and later on we do upgrade this. As the original engine mount and bearings were damaged during removal, I ordered a new one online and refitted that to the engine. I then thrown on the engine covers and shrouds for the engine. Now, this is very important that you refit these because otherwise your engine will overheat, especially if it's air-cooled. Also, I chucked in a BR8 HS spark plug for good measures. Now, this was the point I was forced to make a tough decision, and that was to either powder coat the frame or hand bash it. I chose the latter because I didn't want to spend that money on powder coating when I can spend that on the engine. So I removed as much of the rust as I possibly well could be bothered to and hand painted the frame along with the forks and handlebars. I know a lot of you won't agree with this, but it was just a decision I made at the time. So after the painting was finished, I reassembled the forks and handlebars with new headset bearings. I think there was a total of 54. Most of them went across my garage floor as they do. And I also managed to source a replacement footboard. Got that on eBay. So I'm very grateful for that because my one was broken. I also rust treated the tank. I filled it up with malt vinegar to the brim, left it for a few days, then washed it out and used baking soda to neutralise the acid, then refitted it onto the bike. I then fitted the belt and clutch, also the Asuni R exhaust, which arrived on the same day, and connected up the tank, ready for its first start. Right. She don't want to start, but she does. Oh, hello. Cuts out. After getting close to throwing it across the garage and nearly calling it a day, it decided to start and continually tick over. I think the problem was it had different oils, WD-40, all sorts going through it, which it was trying to burn out. But luckily, it came alive, and here we are. Moving swiftly on, I got some new Michelin S1 tyres fitted to my wheels. I replaced the seals and the bearings along with new brake shoes. Chucked that on the bike along with the rest of the fairings. After that, I had to wait about 2 weeks for a replacement rear mudguard because my one had been misplaced. But luckily, you can still get them on AliExpress, so I was pretty happy about that. After fitting the rear mudguard and number plate, I thought the bike was ready for its MOT. However, the headlights and the rear lights were not working. I had indicators, but the running lights had failed. So after doing multiple tests, it turned out the stator was faulty. I ordered a new one, and after fitting that, the lights came back and the bike was then ready to have its MOT test. What a piece. Moves up nice, so look. Working. So believe it or not, it passed its MOT with flying colours, not even one advisory. Now, as you can see, there was duct tape all over the front panel. I wanted to get rid of that, so what I'd done was use super glue and bicarbonate soda all mixed in together to create a bodge job effect. And then I used blue marker pen to colour it in. But after all, it is an artistic spec, so anything goes. That's artistic. Good old eBay came through with the new Yamaha sticker and the Artistic Jog OEM one. So lucky. Now, after going for a ride with the original transmission, clutch, variator and carburetor, I felt like it needed upgrading because the bike would only go to about 40 miles per hour. So went online, I bought a 17.5mm Delorto carb. I upjetted that to about 95, fitted a Stage 6 Pro variator with 5 gram rollers, a new belt and also clutch and clutch bell. Now, after going for a ride with the new setup, I noticed it would accelerate really quickly and it would go all the way to 45 miles per hour, but no faster. Turns out there was an issue which I couldn't really get to the bottom of, but it was so simple. After buying a gear up kit which didn't fit and also scratching my head thinking it could be the CDI, it turns out the actual drive belt I had was too short. It should have been a little bit longer. Luckily, I managed to find the correct one, and yeah, here we are. So now the bike runs absolutely spot on, and it will cruise along at about 53 miles per hour and get there extremely quick.
It's in the back.
So I've achieved exactly what I wanted to with this little Yamaha Jog, and that is to keep it looking original, keep it looking tatty, bit of a wolf in sheepskin. Also reliability, you know, the parts I've used in this build are to keep it in the sports range. I didn't want to go race. This is fast enough. It wheelies if you want it to. It also wheelies if you don't want it to. And it cruises along at sensible speeds. Now what I'll do, I'll leave all the parts that I used in the description of this video, and that should help you should you wish to do a similar build to mine. But apart from that, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, and see you all again soon for the next one.